and welcome to Diplomatic Channel. I'm Temi Tokwe Fagbemi. Last week was particularly upsetting for Nigerians living in the Indian state of Goa. One of them was murdered and angry protesters took to the streets to express their displeasure, but that only got the Indian authorities angry. Take a look. A group of angry Nigerians on Thursday, October the 31st, clashed with the police in India after a fellow national was found stabbed to death in the Asian country's beach state, Goa. The body of the Nigerian man was found in Mapusa town and triggered protests with Nigerians blocking the roads and allegedly attacking a police vehicle. The protesters also removed the body from the van and kept it on the road, blocking traffic in the area. But this did not go down well with their host community. Chief of India's Goa state, Manohar Parrikar, said the murder charge will be investigated, but 53 Nigerians were detained for allegedly attacking the police. This led to a diplomatic row between Indian and Nigerian officials. India accused the Nigerian government of not following protocol before sending their diplomats to the Asian country.
If a Nigerian embassy sends some diplomat here, they should have ensured that I am properly informed. I have not been informed by anyone. There is a protocol for it. I don't meet any ambassador or any attaché office or any personal office without directions, permission granted by Ministry of External Affairs. That is a protocol. So they have to follow the protocol. They have not followed the protocol.
But that's not all. Goa's Foreigners Registration Officer, Tony Fernandez, also accused Nigerians living in India of various crimes.
Most of the Nigerians who are involved in overstaying, drugs, rioting, trespass, assault cases. Now, regarding this recent murder, to do the postmortem, the forensic doctors wants the correct details of the deceased person.
A claim the Nigerian High Commissioner to India vehemently denied while speaking via telephone to Channels Television.
This is not correct. The young man has been determined to be a very innocent person. And even at that, even if a Nigerian is involved in drug, as I have been telling people, the proper punishment is not to hack him to death at all, was not remotely even connected with any drug incident. We have determined that and affirmed that.
But how can Nigerians abroad be better protected so that issues like these don't recur?
The Federal Republic of Nigeria is very clear that the security of lives and property of Nigeria is guaranteed under the Constitution. And of course, we all know that any law that is not in conformity with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to that extent, that law is null and void. Of course, I don't think that there needs be any other law because that would amount to over legislation. But what that law does is that it is the security of lives and property of Nigerians are guaranteed within Nigeria. But then we also have the missions abroad that carry the mandate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And they are charged with the responsibility of ensuring that Nigerians around the world do not come to danger. And when they do come into any kind of danger, there are set rules and responsibilities that the missions have towards the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It is interesting to note that the Nigerian government has spent a fortune trying to rebrand the country's image. But maybe it's time to look inwards and ask ourselves a few questions. 1. Why are Nigerians running out of the country to live elsewhere, and what can be done to bring them back home? Also, how can Nigerians who are still at home be encouraged to stay back? The solution to the harassment Nigerians face abroad may lie in the answer to these questions. Away from home, a lot was also happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The M23 rebels that had been battling the government for so long surrendered. In our next report, we'll tell you about the massive celebration which erupted in the DRC afterwards. Hundreds of people marched through the streets of the town of Kibumba in the eastern DRC, singing praise for the government of President Joseph Kabila after the M23 rebel group called an end to a 20-month rebellion after the army captured its last hilltop strongholds last week. Kibumba, some 20 kilometers from Goma, was one of the first towns secured by the DR Congo Armed Forces after fighting between M23 rebels and the army resumed late last month. The rebels have wrought havoc across the eastern region since it began its insurgency in April 2012. In the midst of the jubilation, Uganda announced on Thursday, November the 7th, that it was holding the military commander of the M23 rebel movement after he surrendered.
In the last couple of weeks, as the negotiation gathered pace, M23 rebel fighters began crossing into Uganda in smaller beats. It gathered pace about 4 days ago. By this morning, we had received about 1,600 rebel fighters and commanders, including Rebel Commander General Sultan Makenga. For obvious reasons, we can't disclose where General Makenga and other top leaders are, but we can confirm that they are in Uganda, and we have shared this information with the concerned parties, the DRC government.
Many believe his surrender will be seen as a major achievement for the UN-backed Congolese army as it strives to restore calm in a region torn apart by 2 decades of war. We'll take a quick break on Diplomatic Channel, and when we return, we'll be shifting our attention to the latest developments in the Middle East. Please stay with us.
Fun, inspiration and knowledge. That's what you get from readers, writers, publishers, and the entire book world. Get some interesting reviews, events, interviews, and latest updates from the book world. The channel's book club, inspiring you one page at a time.
Welcome back. As I promised, we are moving over to the Middle East now to take a fresh look at the Israel-Palestine conflict and what's been done to resolve the crisis. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry began his visit to Israel and the Palestinian territories on Tuesday, November the 5th. Upon his arrival, Mr. Kerry said he had no illusions about the difficulties facing the Israeli-Palestinian peace process.
I come here without any illusions about the difficulties, but I come here determined to work with leaders, with the Prime Minister, with the President of the Palestinian Authority, to try to find a way forward so that Israel can live the dream of President Peres and of Prime Minister Rabin expressed so eloquently and beautifully in the tragedy of that day here and in many days before that. We will continue to work, and I can promise Israelis that America will stand by the side of Israel every step of the way.
Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blamed the Palestinians for the slow pace of the peace talks.
I'm concerned about their progress because I see the Palestinians continuing with incitements, continuing to create artificial crises, continuing to avoid and run away from the historic decisions that are needed to make a genuine peace. I hope that your visit can help steer them back to a place where we could achieve the historical peace that we seek and that our people deserve.
A day later, the U.S. Secretary of State met Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Amman, Jordan. There, Mr. Kerry